And we're live. It's Yuri, the head of sales with iSpeedToLead, and we're very excited to announce our iSpeedToLead live big meetup where we are trying to bring as much value to you guys as possible. And we all know how it's important, to have some people that help you out, to give you some advice and guide you. So we are bringing four special guests today. We are bringing Danielle Ellsworth, who is going to cover some of the tips and tricks how to dispo your properties nationwide. Also, some of the mistakes that people do. We also bring Shaun and Ashley, that some of you might know. They're going to talk more about creative strategies and how to apply them to close the maximum amount of deals. We also bring in a new special guest. His name is Rosevelt Hawkins, with 25 years of experience in sales, in tech sales, and different sales. And he will share with us the number one reason why many investors and many people fail is the lack of communication and having not strong enough communication. And of course, myself and Jonathan, we're going to share a little bit more with you guys how to close deals nationwide with the most affordable leads. Having said that, our first guest is Danielle Ellsworth. And Danielle, nice to have you. How's it going?
Hey, Yuri, great to be here again. Thanks for having me on.
So I'm giving you the stage. Tell us who you are, how you do, and everything. What do you have?
Yeah.
All the secrets, so guys can close more deals nationwide and using your Dispo secrets.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like Yuri said, my name's Danielle. I am an owner operator of a wholesale company. I specialize on the Dispo side. So, I'm here to chat with you guys a little bit about how to make sure your deals are crossing the finish line, some of the most important tips and tricks, some things that you shouldn't do, and then some things to focus on. So, as you guys are aware, if you're here, you're familiar with iSpeedToLead. You're probably familiar, or you've at least heard about DealSpeed. DealSpeed is one of the couple of tools that I use as far as getting my buyers and getting my deals across the finish line. Like I said, these are tools, so these are not going to solve all of your problems. They're not going to sell your deals, but they are great tools. They're great to start your buyers list. Great to keep track of your data and everything like that. But like I've said before on here, if you feel like these platforms are going to sell your deal for you, that's not the case. You really have to be able to put in the work ethic. It's just as many phone calls on average to acquire a deal as it is to dispo a deal. So we're building buyers lists. We use the buyers list out of DealSpeed. And then we create our own based on the markets that we're in. Really, what I try to focus on is making sure that my buyers list is on point. Not really necessarily the quantity, but the quality. So when I'm calling buyers and I'm vetting buyers, I'm constantly updating my list, making sure that I have what they're looking for. So if it's not this deal, maybe it'll be another one, but I need to know what they're typically buying. Is it multifamily, single family? Do they only do full guts? Do they only do minimal rehabs? Are they fix and flippers, or are they buy and holds? All of this information is super valuable to have as you're building these buyers lists. And you want to keep it up to date. You want to be constantly communicating with your buyers. So once we get your buyers list together, you're going to have to pick up the phone. You're going to have to make calls. Typically, my team, what we do is we're calling our buyers in the area that we're trying to dispo at least twice a day if we're not getting them. And it's multiple dials each time. We do it at least twice a day because sometimes your buyers are not going to be available in the morning, but they're going to be available in the afternoon. So you need to make sure that you're hitting it at least a couple of days and a couple of times every day. We text, we'll send our DealSpeed links to our buyers, we'll email, we make sure that we upload our buyers into DealSpeed for easy access next time. And then we also just keep our buyers list in a folder for us as well. Some of the other important things, like I said, don't just post a deal and think that it's going to sell. You got to put in the work. You got to make the calls. My dispositions are making at least 50 calls a day with at least an hour of talk time per deal. And that's what we've seen works to get our deals across the line. Make sure you're keeping track of those buyers. Like I said, if it's not this deal, it might be another one on later on down the road. And then when you do get these buyers on the phone, you have to vet them, especially if it's somebody that you've only maybe had a couple of interactions with. Don't just send anybody to the property. You need to make sure they're actual buyers, that they're not wholesalers or daisy chainers, and that they're actually interested in the property. Always make sure that you're honest. Make sure you're fair. That's how you're going to keep the buyers coming back time and time again. And it's also important to make sure that they know this deal isn't going to be here forever. If you have a good deal on your hands, it's going to sell. It's just a matter of time. And they need to know that it can't be a week later they'll give you an answer or get back to you. It needs to be, on time within the next day. Get them out there, get them walking the property, and get an offer from them. I would say the most important thing that I've seen now that we're doing several JVs, your handoff as an acquisitions person to the dispositions team is what is going to, how quickly the deal is going to move. Are you giving all of the details that they need as far as rehab that needs to be done? Everything that the end buyer is actually going to want to know. You want to make sure that you're giving that to the JV team or to your Dispo team right the first time. Recently, we did a JV for a person, for a team, and when our buyer walked the property, what the acquisitions team had told us was very, very different than what we had told our buyer. So do yourself a favor if you're doing acquisitions. Make sure that you are giving really good information to your Dispo team, whether that's a JV or somebody within your own team. That's just huge. We've lost a couple of deals, and we've actually burned bridges with a couple of buyers because we sent them out to a crap deal, and we didn't have everything that we needed to make sure that we were honest about the property. So if you guys if you're doing acquisitions, which is definitely where you should start, get your PPL, get on iSpeedToLead, lock up some contracts. My biggest recommendation is don't slow down your acquisitions to try to fully understand and know the dispositions process. There's always somebody out there that can help you JV a deal, make sure that you get it across the finish line. But what you really need to focus on is just making sure you're fantastic at comping, making sure that you have good quality leads, and making sure that your transition process over to Dispo is absolutely on point. Once you have that down, start dabbling in the disposition. Try to dispo some of your own properties, get that feedback. Make sure that when you're dispoing with a JV partner, that they're giving you feedback in a timely manner about what the buyers are saying, whether your numbers match their numbers. And just the overall likelihood of the deal being able to make it across the finish line. So we have a question. What suggestions do you have for acquisitions as far as good deal to be able to dispo and make it attractive? So if you have a good deal, kind of like what I was saying, your marketing, you need to have all of the important points in your marketing. I would take a look at some of the deals that are listed on DealSpeed right now. Take a look at some of the ones that you feel like, as a buyer, if you were in that position, I would buy that. I wouldn't have a ton of questions. And then take a look at some that are, minimal. Sometimes people are talking in circles because they know it's not a good deal. But definitely make sure your marketing is on point, understanding what the rehab is. Help your end buyers see what the exit strategy is. Is it going to cash flow? Is it a good flip? What's the market like in the area? Is it a rentals market? Is it more end buyers that are going to buy and hold the property? Things like that, for sure. What recommendations for acquisitions when a seller wants market price? Yeah, so this is definitely going to happen, and I think Ashley will be able to give you some really good pointers as far as creative strategies if they're open to that. But you really have to be able to explain your process and where you're getting your numbers to the seller. So if it's a flip, the seller needs to understand that you have to calculate your rehab budget, which would come off of your ARV. Make sure you're on point with your ARV because that could throw your entire process off. So make sure they understand your rehab, but they also need to understand what all goes into the process of the rehab. So during that time period, it could be 1 month, it could be 1 year, you're paying all of the bills, like the mortgage. It could be a very high interest private money loan that you're paying interest on. You're also paying property taxes. You're paying the utilities and everything like that. So really let them understand that it's not just cut and dry. You're fixing this property and going to flip it for a profit. You have all of these other expenses that as you're holding on to it, you're going to be paying monthly.
Just a question from my side in this case. So let's imagine I just start. I'm thinking about getting my first contract. Would you recommend to also any suggestions how to start building your cash buyer list other than maybe being creative and just finding some, asking people or something like that? And how much is it necessary? I know I'm biased, so I would say always start building your cash buyer list right away. But how much time you would say you would dedicate to that? Probably 10%, 15%, just thinking getting some cash buyers in your list, in your pipeline, when you will hopefully get a deal.
I would at least be spending as much time as you are calling to Dispo property. You should be spending at least that amount of time to also create a cash buyers list. There's a lot of ways to do it. Obviously, some of the platforms like DealSpeed and some of the other services have cash buyers lists on them. You still want to make those connections. Make sure you fully understand the buy box. You could post in Facebook groups, things like that. But the more you can dedicate to building that list, and a quality list, again, not just quantity, but quality, the more successful you're going to be down the road. It's very easy to find a connection with a few really great buyers and then kind of work your process backwards and start buying your leads in those areas because you've already connected and built that buyer's list.
Do relationship help with cash buyers? That's another question. I think, and the reason why I ask about it is because I'm thinking if I have more cash buyers, right? The more cash buyers I have, the better. And let's say when I have the deal, I would go to somebody who will give you the most money. But is that always the good strategy, or sometimes you just gotta go to some cash buyers that you're really in touch and it's making things easier? What's the thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the better relationship you can have with your buyers, the more likely they are to pull on you when they're looking for something. Just because it's somebody that buys a ton of properties doesn't mean that they're going to be the right fit for you and that connection. There's a lot of people out there that find a few buyers and then are able to solely work in those markets and just feed them deal after deal after deal. And those are the best relationships to have.
And okay, this is a financial question from my side. Do cash buyers, and full disclosure, never close a deal in my life, do cash buyers always know how much money you take? And if you have some relationship, they are fine with taking you more, or how does that typically work?
So we do have a few cash buyers that are whatever you make on top of it, I don't care. This is what I'm willing to pay. No big deal. And then we do have some that they see the closing statement or whatever, and they're like, wait, what? They're not okay with you making that big of an assignment. There's plenty of ways to get around that. We actually offer TC services as well, and my TC is familiar with double closes, pass-through funding, creative, probate, inherited, just everything. So having a really good TC and a connection with a good title company will save a lot of deals as well.
Okay, and I'm pretty sure Ashley and Shaun are going to tell us about transactional coordinators too. Just had a recent story with a father and son who told me that like creatives without transactional coordinators doesn't very hard. Need another set of eyes all the time. So,
Absolutely.
But I'll let Ashley and Shaun probably to talk more about that. And is that a disposition question? Or is it a acquisition question?
Short sale. That gets a little bit out of what I like to do. I like to do, not really having realtors involved. There's definitely creative ways you can help people out of foreclosure and things like that, but short sale is probably not something I would be best to speak on.
And what's your suggestion for finding good TC other than, just reaching out to you and getting some help? How did you find your TC? And I assume she's good, or he.
Yeah, my TC, he's awesome. He does do per deal, so you can work directly with him. You can email me at jv@withworthproperties.com. There's other services like Easy REI closings and stuff like that have like a membership and a per deal charge. I would also connect with title companies. If there's one that you use in the market, ask who they work with that is successful, and network with people on here, people in the markets that you're working in. Post it. Like if you go into the Titanium Vault, it's a free channel. If you post in there on their Facebook group asking for TC services, you're going to get a ton of opportunities. So definitely make sure you're networking.
And I know you're very busy. So before I let you go, top 3 advice for people when we talk about disposition on your mind, just first things to think about. So what would you say in short?
Yeah, pick up the phone and call. Create that buyer's list. Make sure you have the specific details. And then be honest, fast, and fair with your buyers. Don't try to BS them. They're business people. They're usually been in the industry for quite some time, and they're likely to stick with you, seek you out for more deals if they can trust you. And that's important for sure.
And to connect with Danielle, if you guys need any help, and I think Danielle is still at the stage where even they help almost everybody, unless it's really crap deal, and they're gonna tell you about this too. Unlike some of the big guys who actually will take some particular deals so they can make, more money. So if you need any help, you'd like to reach out to Danielle, here is the link. Reach out, stay in touch. We appreciate you. Thank you for being one of our clients and users. And our next guests.
Good luck.
Thank you. So. And our next guest, a lot of you know them. They are doing live calls. They're closing creative. It's Shaun and Ashley. Not giving a lot of introductions to you guys, but nice to see you again. So we're talking about why investors fail. We know that you're going to talk about creative, but for whoever is watching us first time, we know there is plenty of people who watch and see you even first time. So tell us who you are, what's your path right now, and give us some advice, on acquisitions overall, when to transition to creative finance, and different things, how you can do those things.
Absolutely.
To the extent of we can do it in up to 20 minutes. So, and
sounds good.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Hey everyone, I'm Ashley. I've been in real estate for a little over a year now. Mostly on the acquisition side. Our main focus is wholesaling. I'm working towards getting some buy and holds, but that'll come down the line, and I want to buy everything creatively, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I love what I do. And go ahead, Shaun.
What's up, guys? You guys have probably seen me on here calling sellers and doing this stuff before, but I'm one of the owners and founders of Oak Hill Acquisitions. That's me and Ashley's company. Mostly on the acquisition side of things, but I would say I kind of branch all over into every single part of the business. I do probably like 95% of the deal structure. Managing the transactions, dispositions. Yeah, so pretty much every part of the business I touch, but definitely have a passion for the acquisition side of things. Love talking to sellers, love closing deals.
Absolutely. You do a lot. I mean, even to door knocking and everything. I mean, I learned so much from Shaun. It's insane. Reach out to him if you ever got any questions. He's very good at helping people and stuff. So, why are we here tonight? We are here to talk about creative finance, one of my favoriteest things ever. It's so brilliant and genius, and your brain can, I guess. So I used to paint furniture before this, so I was able to bring my creativity to real estate, and I absolutely love it. I never even knew this part of real estate existed. So, what I got to tell you guys is I think really a big reason why investors can fail at closing deals is not having enough tools on their belts. And what I mean by that is just not enough problem solving skills to solve the seller's needs and what will give them what they want. Some sellers are delusional. They may have a really great property and it could be cash flowing, and you might be able to pay that delusional number, not at cash, right? But if we get creative, we might be able to figure out how to get that deal to the finish line. So I think really just let me tell you guys something that happened today. I called the lead, and this person is moving out of their house. They're on their way to Colorado. They have had 3 investor calls today. Each investor pitched subject to, and they said no every single time. And then I'm the 4th one calling, and I'm saying, yeah, I mean, I think the best way to go about this would, I never said the word subject to. Okay. I went in and said, I think the best way to maybe do this is, and I said, let me just explain so it can make a little bit of sense to you. I said, you bought in 2021 when I wish I would have been buying. That was the best time to buy, right? Like right when, was it the best time to buy? Yeah, because it was like the interest rates were like still fairly low, I believe, right? 4%, John?
No,
Ish.
they were in like 2-3%.
3%, 3.5. Yeah, it just really depend on your credit. But yeah, like they were still very low, and it was right before that big jump. So and then I think property values skyrocketed like a year or 2 after that. So it's like, yeah, I've been kicking myself in the butt, but if you can get into properties that people don't want anymore that they purchased in 2021 and get into those interest rates, so I basically said to her, I said, what makes sense to me is taking over your loan rather than going and opening up a new loan to take care of an existing loan at a higher interest rate. I said, it just doesn't make sense, and she goes, yeah, subject to or something. Somebody's called me about that. I don't really understand it. So I really broke it down to her, and I said, I'll make sure there's protection in place for you. You never know if something's going to happen to me, if I'm going to be abducted by an alien tomorrow or something. I said, but we have a third party agency that takes care of all of our properties. Our mortgage gets paid on time, sometimes 2 days before. I said, so we could put something in place. If a payment was missed, it gets deeded back to you, and you get to keep the down payment, or not down payment, sorry, like the just like cash in seller's pocket to close the deal. But just little things like that, and giving them the platter of goodies, and not being selfish and looking at what you're trying to get out of the deal, right? You're trying to bring them value and show them how you're there to help. Not, hey, I'm going to take this property off of you and it's called subject to, I can take over that. You got to work on your pitch, because if 3 people called before me and she said no, and then that 4th call, she said yes. So there's just something a little bit different. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone by any means, but I think there's different ways to work your pitches. And my pitches weren't great when I first started. You know, it takes a little bit of time, but my superpower is talking to people. So I did catch on quick. But you know, Shaun will tell you one of my biggest things that I struggled with up until 2 months ago was explaining like how like pitching seller finance and pitching the actual, you know, creative finance thing we were doing. I could get it across and I've closed deals like that, but I think I struggled, and it's making it make sense for the seller. Do you want to add on to that?
I don't really know how to branch off of that. I mean, yeah,
Sorry, I
so
just
explaining, knowing what you're talking about and
Yeah.
explaining terms is very, very important because, right, like you're supposed to be the expert when you're talking to these sellers. You are the real estate professional, you are the expert. So if you can't, you know, pitch it correctly and get them to explain it, the way I like to say it is, if you can't explain it to a third grader, you don't actually understand what you're talking about. You know, so, and that's the same with the seller because they're not in real estate, they have no idea what the heck you're talking about. So if you can't explain it to a very dumbed down level and get them to understand, then yes, you're never going to get the deal. And that's probably why they said no 3 times before they said yes, is you probably explained it in a way that actually made sense to them, that they actually understood, and that's why they felt comfortable moving forward with you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think if you can bring in different ways to solve people's problems, and then expand market, because I got to tell you guys, I was a little scared, not scared, but I was like, I have to be knowledgeable on every single market, but you truly don't. I think in, you know, going nationwide, it was I don't know. I think it was very easy compared to what was going on in my brain. We get properties all over, from Texas, Illinois, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, Mass. The list goes on. Ohio, like it really goes on. I just got one in, I think, Nashville, Tennessee. So like, you know, I don't think it really matters what market it's in, especially when you're an investor. I think we're trying to get a cash price anyway. And if you know creative, you can pitch that. There's no really, you know, changing. The market's not going to have a what am I trying to say? The market's not going to affect how creative works, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't that make sense? I mean, I'm wondering, I guess I'm scratching my own head because I thought it was going to be hard. So I'm like trying to think of what I was thinking was going to be hard about it prior. And you know, it's just a lot easier than I thought. So I think if you widen your network, widen your parameters, widen your tools to be able to provide sellers, you're going to close so many more deals. I promise you. I promise you. I think that's really where we expanded, was widening our parameters. And yeah, and we've been doing creative finance. Shaun a little bit longer than me, but you know, and when you bring that out to the whole US, imagine how many people you can come across. Seriously.
Yeah.
Shaun?
I mean, so we're talking about why investors fail, right?
Yeah.
So, in my personal opinion, I think most investors fail because they are not consistent. That's the thing with this business, is it's a consistency thing. Like, it's going to take so many calls to get a deal. It's going to take so many leads to get a deal. Even once you get contracts, those contracts are going to fall through. It's going to take so many contracts to actually close on a deal. So like, you need to stay consistent. You can't expect to make a bunch of money in this business and be closing a bunch of deals if you're doing this a couple days a week. Like, right, if you're doing this a couple days a week, there are other people that are doing this every day and they're putting in more hours than you. So they're going to get better quicker. They're going to have better conversations. They're going to sharpen their skill set way faster. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's necessarily about like how many hours you put in per day, but it's just about the consistency. Like you need to be taking action every day. You need to be talking to sellers every single day because it's a diminishing skill. Like I know, like for me, we took like 3-4 days off, between Christmas and New Year's. And when I got back on the phones like that first week of January, like I was like, I feel rusty, and it's only been 4 days. So like if you're only doing this a couple days a week, like you're not gonna see the progress that you want to see, and you're just gonna feel frustrated because you're not going to be improving your skill set. So for me, the number one reason why people fail is consistency. I would say like a very close second to why people fail is probably because they don't understand that like failure is part of the process with something like this. Like you're going to make offers. Sellers are going to say no. You're going to call sellers and they're not going to want to talk to you. You're going to contract deals and then those deals are going to fall through for one reason or another. Like failure is a part of the process and you have to be comfortable with that. Like if you're not comfortable with, failure and like failing forward and getting better and learning from your failures every time, you probably shouldn't be an entrepreneur. You probably shouldn't be in this business because you're going to fail. Like how many deals have we lost because, they fell through for one reason or another? Like I don't know. I can't remember the total number of deals that we've lost. But like what are we going to do? Like sit there and complain about it? It's like, no, it's part of the process.
You have to move on.
Yeah, you move on, you stay consistent. Like just because a deal falls through doesn't mean like it's the end of the world and we're going to stop calling sellers and stop buying leads and stop doing the business. So you have to stay consistent. You have to be okay with failure. Like because you might be super super hyped that, oh, I put my first property under contract, and then maybe when you go to sell it you realize you contracted it too high. Right? It's your first one. You contracted it too high. No buyers want to buy it. And maybe you try to go back and renegotiate with the seller. They're not open to a renegotiation. So you lose the deal.
And it was never a deal to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's okay. It's like you took that next step in the process. You actually put a deal under contract.
Yep.
It's like that's a milestone. That's you're checking the box. You're doing the thing. And it's like just move on to the next one. I mean, Ashley, why do you think people like fail at this business? Because to me, like I said, it just boils down to consistency. Like people aren't putting the reps in to get better.
Yeah. So I agree with you to a certain extent. I think lead generation has a lot to do with it as well.
Yeah.
Lead quality. iSpeedToLead is 70% of our business. And before I even found iSpeedToLead, we had like was it August? Yeah, no, it was like August or September of 2023 is when I had started, and then I found iSpeedToLead in that following February, March.
Yeah, it was like March of 24.
Yeah, I noticed a huge difference. And it was like, and I noticed this with the newbies I've been working with as well, because they've been calling direct to agent. And then when I brought in, a pile of iSpeedToLead leads, well, actually another new person had brought in a pile of iSpeedToLead leads. Then I bought a couple for them. They were like, oh my gosh, this is so different. This is great. Like they were actually talking to motivated sellers. And I feel like if you don't have the quality of the lead there, how can you have quality conversations? And if you can't have quality conversations, how can you grow and get better? But you can, right? If you have an accountability partner, you're getting reps in. And that's another thing that the newbies were talking about, is how they got better was through role playing too. Mm-hmm. So still getting reps in. But I think that's probably, I noticed just a huge difference in the quality of stuff.
Yeah. It makes it tough, like, because you started out when we were still cold calling and texting. So it's like, you're going to have less conversations with motivated sellers because You just have to, the amount of volume you have to do for cold call and text is so much greater to actually get in front of a motivated seller. But like with a platform like iSpeedToLead, you're talking to motivated sellers right out of the gate. So like
Saves so much time.
you can fast track yourself, I would
Mhm.
say. Like you definitely can fast track yourself by talking to motivated sellers, because now you're actually getting to the point in the conversation where, you know, maybe you're talking terms, maybe you're working on your cash pitch, maybe you're working on, you know, your low price anchor, or, you know, pulling out, you know, the number that they need, and the reason why they want to sell the property in the first place. Like you're actually getting somewhere in the conversations, versus like if you're cold calling and you're texting, you're doing a lot of uh upfront filtering, which is really like you're just going through the four pillars of motivation to see if they're even somewhat interested in continuing the conversation.
Mhm.
So I will say, yeah, definitely quality of lead is super, super beneficial.
Absolutely. I mean, I even just earlier I was like writing down like ways that I think I failed in the beginning, and I wouldn't even say consider it failing. You guys, you're growing, right? Well, if, I hope you're growing, but I guess like you're gonna go through this until
Mhm.
you like really see like a strong up, right? Like that's like how I felt. I feel like we're actually really going up now and growing, and but it took time. It took so much time, and you have to remember you got to get the consistency. If you aren't consistent, it's gonna show in what you lock up too, and then the paydays, and right? Like it's
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was looking at I was just looking at Christina's comment, and I was like chuckling to myself because I was like made a joke. She
Hmm,
said, "Where did you get your specialized knowledge?" And I was like, "Me." But no, we got
it's
it from
true. No, it's true.
we got it from the sub two community. So
You did, but
where
you taught me probably the most because I'm a doer.
Yeah, yeah, you do take action. But Christina, to answer your question, we're both a part of the Sub 2 community by Pace Morby. In that community, like we learned all about creative finance, all the different acquisition strategies, exit strategies that go along with that. Um, it is like a paid mentorship, but there is plenty of free resources out there as well. So like you can go on Pace's YouTube, you can go on Jerry Norton's YouTube. I mean, I've seen RJ close seller finance subject to deals. Like there's a bunch of information out there. Um, and you have access to me and Ashley. So
Mhm.
you can always reach out to us with any questions you have about stuff like that. But I would say first and foremost, like go on YouTube, go to like probably I would suggest like Jerry Norton or Pace Morby. Go watch some of their videos on creative finance. That'll give you a really good baseline on where to start. And then like if you need help like with the nitty gritty of structuring deals and whatnot, like you could always reach out to me and Ashley, and we're more than happy to help.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean that Christina, I was about to say, where's my ladies at? Like, we're in such a male dominated industry of investors. It's like I almost feel like investors are mostly male and then agents are mostly female. I could be wrong with that, but I don't know. That's just the way I feel. And I mean, even when I go to meetups, it's like mostly men. It's the like men are investors, but so we're the minority. And I just want to reach out to all the women and guide you guys if you need help. Just really, shine bright for us.
I
But
love that.
yeah.
Anna has another question. Ashley and Sean, how do you help a seller understand that her house asking price is not market value after they told you all the repairs needed? Ashley, how would you break that down to a seller?
So like are they meaning like if
I'm assuming
the
like they're
Zillow
saying
price, like the Zillow price and looking at it like that, or
I'm assuming they're saying like the seller wants market value for the property, even though the repairs that they listed off indicate that the property is not worth market value.
okay, perfect. So yeah, I mean, I would just explain to them that, hey, you need this, this, and this, and we're gonna have to come in and hire contractors to put that in. I may not. Again, you have to remember what I'm telling you. I say changes to every unique situation and seller type too, because like there's some people you cannot explain that to, and you have to explain it different. So what I'm saying doesn't mean this is how I'm going to explain it exactly. So market value is what it would sell on the market. Like if an agent was to list it, you can just break it down to them that, it depends. Like if there needs to be a new roof, like, I mean, I'd calculate that like 20K in my head, but it really depends. You got to break it down and be like, yes, your market value is correct after all those repairs you told me are
Yeah.
needed.
Yeah, I think I can maybe expand on that a bit. So like
Go ahead.
how I like to talk to them about it is like and I believe I got this from RJ is like educating the seller and Jerry too. But like you can like if you can find a good comp in the area. So like what's your ARV you're looking at, like what property is that? And if it's you're following all your comping rules correctly, it should be a very similar style house, like build generation, all that stuff. So I like to, if I can, put that in front of them and say like, hey, like can you like hop on your phone real quick? Are you in front of a computer? Like look at this house.
Yeah.
Like does your house look like this? Because this is like when you're saying like market value, like let's say like we're talking about like $350,000 is market value. Well, this house sold at 350, or your neighbor's house sold for $350,000 because look at that. That's a brand new renovated kitchen. Those are new floors. Those are all new appliances. Like the paint color is matching what's trending right now. Like that's brand new vinyl siding. Like their house is completely redone top to bottom.
Modern.
And yeah, it's modern. And Mr. Seller, you just told me you haven't updated your kitchen in 30 years. You haven't updated your bathroom in 20 years. You just told me that the AC is broken. You told me that the roof needs to be repaired. So like, could you get this value for your house? Absolutely. If it was all fixed up and it looked exactly like this, but to get to that price, you're probably going to have to spend, maybe $60 to $70,000 for whatever this, role play scenario is. But for me, I like to educate them on why their house is not worth that much money. And then sometimes you are just going to have unreasonable sellers that do not understand. Those, I would say, if the seller's just completely unreasonable, there is nothing that you are going to say, no amount of negotiation that you're going to do to change their mind. We are, RJ says it all the time. Jerry says it all the time, and I am a total believer in this because it's true if you've been in this business long enough. We are deal finders, not deal makers, right? So we are there to find the deals that already exist. We're not there to, try and reason with somebody that is completely delusional about their price and the condition of their home. Like, can you negotiate with them to a certain extent and try and like educate them? Absolutely. But we're here to find the deals with people that want to sell. Like we're not here to, sit there and try and negotiate every single one. Like, and you also have to, be willing to throw leads away too. Right. Like if you're on the phone with a seller, you can tell they're completely delusional and they're being very short with you, and they're just not giving you any information whatsoever. Like you can throw that lead away and move on to the next one. That's okay. I mean, like if I get on the phone with a seller and they're an iSpeedToLead and I ask them how much are you looking to get for your property, and they're like, well, you called me, what's your offer? I'm more than okay with telling that seller, oh, it sounds like you're not ready to sell yet. Give me a call back when you're ready to sell. Like you can't be desperate for the deal. Like the biggest mindset shift that you can have is just because you're wholesaling, put yourself in the mindset of you are the buyer. If you were the actual buyer, would you be willing to sit there and go tick for tat with them on, the stuff that needs to be done? Like, no, you're the buyer. You're the one with the cash. You claim that you want to sell. Well, I'm the one buying your house. This is my price. If they're not cool with that, that's fine. But like, you don't have to sit there and reason with unreasonable people. you can move on. That's why you don't just buy one lead, or you don't work on one seller indefinitely. Like, that's why you have hopefully like a pipeline of leads that you can call. That's why we don't just buy one lead a month and go, I'm going to buy one lead a month and I'm going to get one deal a month. It's like, no, you have to go through a pool of, maybe 5, 10, 20 leads, like, depending on where you're buying your leads or what lead source you're using. So it's okay to, throw leads away if the person's being completely unreasonable. But like for me, I'll try and educate, and then I'll try and, get them to understand, like, hey, this is why we need to be where we're at.
Or let me get on to that too, real quick. Like, if you not necessarily have to throw it away, it can stay cold or in limbo, or, and
You can
put it
follow up.
Huh?
You can follow up. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah, you can follow up as well and see if motivation level has changed, because listening to Shaun, that means one thing, right? They're not motivated enough.
Yeah.
If they're super motivated and they have to sell or they need to sell, that's what creates the motivation, you guys. They're very motivated to get it because they have a goal, or they have to, or there's a,
Yeah.
there's
Something's
something there.
happening. Yeah. Something's
Exactly.
happening where they need to sell their house. Like,
Mhm.
that's the biggest thing that everybody should be looking for on these calls is motivation. Are they
Yes.
actually motivated to sell their house? If you get on the phone with somebody and they say, "Oh yeah, I'd like to sell my house, once my kids get out of high school," and their kids are, 14 years old, they don't need to sell for another 4 years.
And
Of
a
course
toddler.
they're not. Yeah, of course they're not going to accept your low cash offer, because there's nothing motivating them to sell the property. Like,
Right.
that's why all comes back to, we are deal finders. We are out there to find the people that have high levels of motivation to want to sell their house now for cash in the next 30 days. That's what, or like,
A
within the
million
next 60
percent.
days. Like, that's what we're looking for. If you cannot create motivation
Mm-mm.
for the seller, you have to find the motivation. Like, are they actually
Yes.
motivated?
Oh
And
my
you
God.
do that,
Yes.
like Ashley talks about all the time. You do it through building rapport. Like, are they actually motivated to sell? If you can say yes, they have some legitimate motivation, cool, continue on the conversation. If they are not legitimately motivated to sell their house, you can very politely just say, hey, it sounds like you're not, really looking to sell right now. That's totally okay. You mind if I check back in with you in a couple months? And then, like Ashley said, you put them in a follow up sequence. Set
Mhm.
a reminder for yourself on your calendar, in your CRM, on your Excel sheet. I don't know, whatever you got. Set a reminder. And hey, in 3 months, I'm going to give them a call to see if anything's changed.
Love it. Yes. Oh my gosh. We are letting out some nice little tips here, you guys. So real quick to go on Yvonne's question. You know what I was taught? Pace Morby made us call title agencies.
Mhm.
Like, that's what we had to do. That was our homework one night. So wherever your market is, I don't know, call the title companies in that area and say, hey, do you do creative financing? Do you specialize in that? Because you're gonna get more stuff accomplished with a title company if they've done it before. Typically ones that don't deal with it are not gonna let you, come over with a creative deal anyway. So, but that's
Yeah,
really
but
your forte. So I'll let you touch on that if there's anything.
no, you're 100% right. Call title companies, guys. Like, if you have, like, let's say you're in New Hampshire like me and you have a deal in North Carolina, look for local title companies in that area, call them and have a conversation and say, are you guys familiar with assignments for cash sales? If they say no, move on to the next one. If they say yes, you can vet them further, but go out and vet your title companies.
Mhm.
If you're not using a transaction coordinator, if you're using a transaction coordinator, your transaction coordinator should have their list of preferred title companies that they work with that are investor friendly.
100%.
But Ashley is 100% right. If you are doing a deal in a new area, or even if it's your first deal and you're like, what title company do I use? Call them and vet them. The best title company I've ever found, I had a sit down meeting with the owner of the title company, and that guy he knew exactly what subject to was before I even had to explain it to him. And he was talking about all this creative stuff, different ways that he's done XYZ to solve problems. And I was like, you're my guy. So call, interview these people, because they're essentially working for you. You're the one with the product. They're the one that's going to fulfill it. So call and interview them.
Yep.
Anna, would you please explain novation?
That's all you.
Yeah, so on a very, very basic level, all a novation is an agreement with the seller that you are going to list their property on the MLS for them and facilitate and or handle the sale. So you're never taking ownership. You're not assigning it. You're putting a purchase and sale agreement together with that seller, with a novation and indemnification agreement that's giving you the right to list the property on the MLS for the seller. So pretty much like on a basic level, you're saying, Mr. Seller, I will promise that if we go this route, you are going to get $200,000 for your house. Anything over and above that is what I take as, my compensation for facilitating this sale for you. On a very basic level, that's what a novation is you're just taking a property, putting it on MLS because you have your paperwork in place that allows you to do that. And then you're just facilitating the sale. You are the one that's signing the listing docs with the agent. You are the one that's reviewing any offers that come in on the property. You are accepting the offers. You are signing the papers at the closing table. You are essentially being the seller's it's you either get a power of attorney or attorney in fact, but that's going kind of into the weeds. Essentially, you are acting as the seller's liaison that's going to facilitate the entire transaction for them.
A novation can be a little bit more complicated. I don't really advise it on like your very first deal unless you are JVing with someone that has a little bit more experience.
Yeah, novations there's a bunch of different types of novations that you can do, but for a very basic level, it's what I just explained. But I 100% agree with Ashley. Like if you're gonna get into a novation on your first one, make sure you do your homework so that you know everything about the process, or JV with somebody that knows what they're doing and has done a novation before, and they can help you out. Just because there's novations can be complicated. You can get into the weeds. There's certain protections you need to put in place for yourself because you technically have no real ownership or interest in the property whatsoever. They can just cancel on you or they can ghost you and then you're left high and dry. So there are specific things you need to do to protect yourself. So if you haven't done a novation before, really research and do your homework. Novation King has a YouTube channel. Like he can tell you everything that you need to do, or JV with somebody and let them show you the process so that next time you can go through and do it yourself.
Absolutely. That was, and Shaun and I have done a novation. I've done one. I don't know how many he's done, but
yeah, we've done a couple novations. If you guys have novation questions, Yuri put our contact information there.
Yep.
My Instagram handle has been up here somewhere, so reach out to me on Instagram. I can help you out.
Yep.
Did you miss me?
I did.
Always.
Always. Thank you guys, and
You're welcome.
just same thing like with Danielle. Give us top 3 things, top 3 advice you have on top of your mind.
Shine from the rest.
Shine from the rest. Know your basics.
I just fix. I will do a short.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead.
I'll let you go first. All right, I'll go first. Okay. Know your basics. Know how to comp. Right. Do not be one of those wholesalers that contracts a property intentionally high just to go and renegotiate later. You are what's giving us a bad name and why there's legislation being passed all across the U.S. And go out there and stay consistent.
Absolutely. I don't care how many contracts you have. Let's see how many make it to the finish line. That was perfect. I love that. Okay. Shine from the rest. Find that little thing that just, really connects you with the seller and other people aren't doing it. Make yourself memorable. Oh my God, I just had them in my head. Why did we do this? Stay consistent. 100%. You have to stay consistent. And just listen to audiobooks, watch YouTube, anything that you can just get more knowledgeable to fill that tool belt, you will be able to close more deals. Thank you. No, just kidding.
Okay. Thank you guys. And yes. Connect with Ashley and Shaun. Contact information is in the comments, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Bye.
Bye.
And the next, the new special guest. You guys see, I took my coat off because he is my Thai brother or Thai dad or something. If we treat it based on the age, but we're gonna have Mr. Rosevelt Hawkins talking about the importance of great communication, because communication is the number one reason. You talk about closing, everybody likes to talk about how to close deals, to all those type of things. But Rosevelt, 25 years in sales, in different kinds of sales. He's gonna tell a bit more about himself, of course, but he's gonna bring you tips and tricks why a lot of real estate investors fail just because of poor communication and how to improve it.
What's up there, Yuri?
Nice meeting you. How's it going?
It's going good, sir. Going good. I want to first of all thank you for allowing me to participate in this particular webinar. I watch these webinars every single week, and you know the thing I love about Yuri, Shaun, and Ashley and Jonathan, every time I'm watching these webinars, is that they do the one thing that most people struggle with almost in every single industry. It doesn't. Yes, sure. Communication is something that everybody struggles with. And it's the reason that, you know, people, even when they get leads, they don't get the opportunities. It's because what they don't know how to do is do the push-ups, the sit-ups, and the cardio with their communication. People always say, go get in shape in the gym. You need to get your belly down. You need to get your cardio up. But what they don't tell you is do the push-ups, the sit-ups, and the cardio with your communication. And in my opinion, it's the number one reason why sellers, investors, buyers, agents, it's why they struggle to close deals. It's because they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to listen appropriately. They don't know how to respond appropriately. And so they just so focused on themselves that they don't know how to do it. And so what I want to do today is talk about 8 common mistakes that I think kill deals. And I think it's not just in real estate, it's in every industry that's out there. I'm just finding now that in the real estate industry, there's not this hardcore focus to teach people how to engage, to teach people how to build rapport and connect with people. And you're talking about helping people with one of their biggest assets. If you don't know how to communicate, you are supposed to fail. So first thing I want to talk about, it's the big one, is a lack of confidence. Man, it don't matter who you are. New agents, VAs, it doesn't matter. Investors, partners, broker, it doesn't matter who you are. When you are speaking with anyone, if you lack confidence, if you lack that edge, that thing that gives people the ability to trust that you are the person that they need to be talking to, then why am I talking to you? Why should I even have a conversation with you if you can't at least do the fundamentals? In basketball, this would be dribbling. You can't just run down the court with the ball. You at least have to know how to dribble. So confidence also comes from the preparation. If you give a or if you hesitate, then the seller's going to feel, hey, I don't know if this person knows what they're doing. You want that person to think you know everything about every single thing that's important to them. It can't just be about you trying to get a sale for a home or you trying to fix or flip this property. Can't be that. It has to be more. But your confidence and what you exude is going to help you make that decision. And and like I said, if you do this wrong, if you try to fake confidence, it's going to hurt you. So the number one thing you got to have going into almost every single thing you do is massive amounts of confidence. It's the key to the whole thing. The next thing, again, that push-ups, sit-ups, cardio. Got to know how to do it in communication. So the next thing, probably the most important, is if a person says something to you and you don't know what to say next, right? You didn't work out any type of script and you didn't put together any kind of talking points or a framework for how you're going to have this communication or interaction with this customer. You just went in freestyle, hoping and praying that you were going to say the right thing, right? And again, a lot of times we think that's easy because we focused on selling, but it's not about just selling. It's about you asking the right questions to uncover what their seller needs are. If you don't ask the right questions, there's no way it's going to work in your favor. You know, the best closers don't do all the talking. They don't do that. They ask all the right questions. They listen to what the person is saying and whatever that's on their mind, and they're responding appropriately. So remember, the first one, you lack confidence. The confidence is massive. You can't lack confidence. The next thing is you got to know what to say. Well, Rosevelt, how am I going to know what to say? I tell you, the secret. It's a secret. When you're trying to figure out, you write down everything that you think a person is going to say to you from an objection standpoint, and then you try to figure out what you will say behind that. That's one of the best advices. But if you don't know what to say, you are going to fail. You are supposed to. You're not supposed to see success if you're stumbling around, not knowing what to say to the person. All right, that's number 2. The third one, this is a big one to me, is you have to turn your ears on, right? He gave us 2 ears. He gave us 1 mouth. That means we should be listening a whole lot more than what we listen to every single day. We don't do it, though, because we're so caught up in ourselves, right? And that we thinking about what we're going to say next. So whatever that comes out their mouth, we already got something else to say. See, the order of how people communicate with each other is you ask a question, you get a response, you respond to what the person says, and then you move forward with the talk track. So you have to listen to what they say, or you're going to miss everything. You're going to miss the key details. You're going to miss what's important to them, and you're going to miss exactly what you should be saying to close the deal, to bring it in. That's probably, to me, suicide. Cut your ears off. Don't hear what anybody say. It's suicide. You're not going to get anywhere if you don't turn on your ears. So again, that's number 3 to me. Poor listening skills. You can't do it. The next one is by far, it's up there. It's up there. Some people think that their words are religion, I guess you could say. Their words have evoked that, you know what, people should work with me. So much so that they talk completely too much, and they oversell. They oversell everything around the conversation. And at the end of the day, if you oversell, you're going to lose. People don't want to hear you talk for 30 minutes. People think they have things to say that are important. So you can't flood the seller with all this information instead of creating curiosity and engagement, instead of creating a dialogue, right? A lot of times, if you find yourself talking for more than 30 seconds without letting the seller respond, you are talking too much. I'll be honest with y'all. On these webinars, because there's not much interaction going back and forth. Yeah, I see Yuri. He interacts with the chat and all that. I get it. But at the end of the day, I feel like I'm talking too much on this thing, but I'm just trying to express and convey some points. But when you're just talking to yourself and you're not being able to interact with people, man, even that could be freaky. So if you know you're talking more than 30 seconds, pull back on it. Come up with some type of empowering question that makes the person, ponder for a second and say, let me think about what he just said. That was a really good question. So you got to be able, again, to pull back and not oversell. The other thing I think is important is you got to have this ability to control the conversation, right? When you don't have a talk track, when you haven't come up with your script, when you haven't put your agenda together, you're going to drift right, left, up, down. You're going to drift everywhere. Your job is to control the conversation. And so what happens is people that are inexperienced at doing this, they will say something and then they will let the prospect take off into the call. The prospect is under control. They're doing everything. And so then you lose. Game over for you. Because guess what? You lost control of the conversation. Maybe you lost it in becoming the subject matter expert. Maybe you lost it in knowing what to say because they've said something that's way too heavy and you can't keep up with it. But you can't lose control of the conversation. You should know the answer to every question you ask someone. You should know the potential responses that everyone could say to you. People don't think about that, though. Your job is to understand what people can say so that you don't lose control of the conversation, right? You want to control it so much that the seller feels like he's controlling it. right? But I'm guiding them step by step toward the decision that I would like to see. They may think they winning. You're not winning. I'm in charge of this. You're not winning. You're going to lose this because I'm in control of it. So you got to make sure you keep control of the conversation. Something I don't like is I answer the phone. I may get a call from somebody trying to sell me something. In today's environment, a lot of us don't answer the phone. I answer the phone because I want to see if the people are going to sound salesy, if they're going to sound like they're pushing me to make a decision. I give them a chance, right? But you can't do that. You've got to, man, have no fear of jumping right in there and making sure you asking direct questions. You know, one of my questions that I love to ask people when they give me some level of hesitation is, you know what? And I'll pretend it's Yuri. Yuri, what's stopping you from moving forward today? What's stopping you from moving forward, right? I'm unafraid of that. Some people, they're scared of asking that question because what's going to happen is you fear what the person might say. And you're scared of what your response is going to have to be. And you can't be scared of it. So you avoid asking the direct question because you don't want to come off as aggressive and you're scared of what the person's response might be. Can't do that. You can't worry about sounding pushy. You can't fear that. You got to push the envelope because you are there to do a job. And your job is sometimes on the phone, face to face. Over the phone, and you got to have a conversation. Your ears are turned on. Sometimes it's face to face. You got to turn your eyes on. Make sure you're paying attention to the mannerisms of the person. But you can't fear sounding pushy. This is a big one right here. When you are dealing with people with what I would consider is their biggest, piece of property they're ever going to own in their life when it comes to real estate, you can't lack real estate knowledge. You can't struggle with having a conversation about off-market deals. You can't struggle with contracts and what they need to sign and how they need to sign and where they need to sign. You can't struggle with negotiation, right? Because if you can't help negotiate, make them believe you know about negotiation, then how in God's name are you going to get that person to believe that you can help them in negotiation if you were to take their home under your belt and try to help them sell it? It's not going to work. So you have to have real estate knowledge. Man, buyers and sellers, they pick up on uncertainty as quick as anybody else. And as soon as they figure out that you are not the person to be trusted, you're done. It's not going to happen for you. And here's what's key about it. It's not supposed to happen for you, right? Now, you don't have to be an expert in everything, but you definitely should know enough to explain the process simple and clearly. If you can't do that, who are you, right? Who are you? And then so you got to make sure that you have the real estate knowledge. You have to make sure that you are the subject matter expert. You are the SME. Call me Mr. Shmee, because that you are that person. Another one, there's 8 of them, right? The other one that comes to mind is you haven't practiced. Man, I played football. I remember running. We specialized in running. Now, some of y'all not gonna know what this is. We was a pro style offense. We ran a lot of options too. So in practice, we would run the same play over and over and over. And you get to that place where, come on, coach, why are we running this play over and over? But what the coach was trying to give us was an understanding of all the things that could happen if this play were ran on the football field. So when we got in the game, we were really good at it. And you know why? Because we practiced that play over and over and over. When you're doing business, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're a greeter at Walmart, you should be practicing greeting people at Walmart. If you are a greeter in real estate, you should be practicing. But if you are a wholesaler, an investor, or agent, or a brokerage owner, you should be practicing every single day. And there isn't people out there doing consistent practice. They're not role playing. They're not practicing objections with each other. They're not refining their pitch. Again, the push-ups, the sit-ups, and the cardio with your communication. That may sound corny, is to tell people you need to learn how to talk. You need to learn how to interact. You need to learn how to listen. You need to learn how to engage, right? And talking to sellers, that's a skill. The more you practice, the more natural and confident you're going to sound. All it is you have to believe in practice on it, though. Like somebody told real estate agents or people that got in real estate a long time ago when they get their license, they said, you could be a successful entrepreneur if you take these 6 classes and you pass this test. Man, that's not how it works. You still have to put the work in. You still got to call people and engage with them. You still got to meet people face to face. You still have to be able to be the expert. So those are the pillars to me of effective communication. Learn how to master a phone call with sellers and buyers and partners. Learn how to interact with people face to face so you can learn how to build rapport and gain trust, right? Because the eyebrow go up quick when you see it face to face, and you ought to know what to say. Become the subject matter expert. Understand real estate, contracts, negotiations, and how to speak with authority. If you don't know how to do it, get out of there. Don't do it no more until you decide I'm going to plug in, I'm going to do my push-ups, I'm going to do my sit-ups, and I'm going to do my cardio. If you don't do that, the game's over. And so there's a 4-step framework to me, a 4-step framework that I think works for communications with sellers and buyers and partners, right? 4-step seller communication process. Get your pens out. I can't see if you got your pens, but get your pens. Get them out and start writing this down, because this is part of the practice. The first one is build rapport with the person first. Hey, Yuri, I know selling a home isn't always easy. What's got you thinking about selling, right? Arouse the curiosity. Act like you really care. Some people just say, why do you want to sell your home? Don't work like that. Hey, Yuri, I know selling your home and one of your biggest assets is not always the easiest thing to do, but what's got you thinking about selling right now? What is it? Open them up. Build rapport first. That's the first one. Build rapport first. Next thing, uncover the motivation. Okay, that makes sense. So Yuri, besides price, what else is important to you in selling the property besides price? Because this is Yuri's whole family that grew up in this house. They've been in this house 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, right? Besides price, Yuri, stop for a second, pause a little bit, slow it down, make the tone right, engage right? Besides price, what else is important to you when it comes to selling your property, right? So you got to build rapport first. That's the first one. Got to build rapport first. The second one, you got to uncover that motivation. The third one is huge. You have to position yourself as the problem solver. You the doctor. Like when we need some help, we all go to the doctor, right? And we all do the same thing when we go to the doctor, right? They call our name, we go back there, they take our weight, they check our height, they put the blood pressure thing on you. They got a routine, right? It's a routine. They've been practicing to get it right because they are fixing to be our problem solver. So Yuri, if I could help you avoid this particular problem, would that be worth the conversation? Right? You got to know what to say. You got to say that thing to make that person think you really can help them with that issue. If you don't do that, it's not going to work. Build rapport, right? Uncover the motivation. Position myself as the problem solver. And then, why are you there? Is to give them 2 offers, cash and creative. Yuri, Shaun, Ashley, I can pay you cash at this price, right? Or I can get you closer to your number with a different structure. Which one makes more sense for you? That you hear the end of that? Which one makes more sense for you. End of the day, guys, you have to do the push-ups, the sit-ups, and the cardio with your communication. End of the day, you have to know how to respond appropriately to what people are saying. End of the day, you've got to learn how to communicate effectively. You see, sellers don't just sell to get the highest offer. They sell to the person they trust the most. And if they don't trust you, your deal's going to die. You're not going to get the deal. And guess what? You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. You know, and then are there key phrases to winning more deals? Yeah, there's key phrases to winning deals every single day. You know, when a seller wants too much for a cash offer, a lot of people give up right there. A lot of people, when the seller says a ridiculous number, a lot of people are like, man, I don't know, we're going to deal with this person. This is ridiculous. Nobody told you to get in this business. You chose to get into this business. So you owe the conversation. So your job now is to say, hey, I totally get wanting more. I totally get that. If I could get you closer to your number, would you be open to something a little different? That's your job. You have to ask that question because you are trying to get closer to win more deals every single day. So when they sound like they want too much, you've got to have something fall off your tongue that's still engaging. When the seller is hesitant about creative finance, right? You've got to say, well, look here, I understand. Have you ever thought about selling in a way where you make more over time? And really hear what I'm saying here, instead of taking a loss up front. Have you ever thought about that? Again, this is our tool. This is our weapon. This is the thing that we elected to do. We chose to do this job, not them. We chose to try to help them, not them. We did. So our job is to understand all the different ways we could pivot to make the thing happen the way it's supposed to happen. That's our job. Now, the other thing they're going to say is when you're following up with a seller because they haven't responded to you, it's hey, Yuri, I know things get busy. I just wanted to check in and see if you're selling your property is still something you're considering right now, right? Just check in on that. You don't have to always be so up in their face. You just want to check on them. Let them know I haven't forgotten about you. Are you still considering selling your property? Is that still something, right? I have to be able to follow up with who haven't responded to me because I started the ball rolling. I got to finish it, right? When you're talking to a buyer about a deal, Yuri, this deal meets your buy box criteria. Your ARV is X. Rehab is Y. And you're buying at, let's call it Z. Does this fit your numbers? You've got to learn how to talk to a buyer about a deal. You've got to do it. If you don't do, again, you are not supposed to be successful in this business if you don't master your communication. You don't do it. And so my takeaways, let me get the pen back out, write these down. Again, you're mastering your communication. You're doing the push-ups, the sit-ups, and the cardio with your communication, right? I ain't telling you to lay on the side of your head and do a push-up with your ear. I'm not saying that. I'm saying work on mastering how you interact with individuals. So the first thing is sellers don't just sell to the highest offer. I said this a minute ago. They sell to the investor who makes them feel the most comfortable, the person that they can trust. Sellers don't just sell to the highest offer. They sell to the investor who makes them feel the most comfortable, the person they trust. Hopefully you wrote that down. Poor communication equals lost deals. I'll say that one again because I always think it's important to say that one. Poor communication equals lost deals. The best closers ask the best questions and listen more than they talk. So I could say the best closers ask the best questions and they listen the best. So you got to be able to do that. That's number 2. Number 3, follow up and persistence separate successful investors from those who struggle. The average people will not follow up because they average. The successful people are the ones that continue to do the work. They follow up and they check in and they respond appropriately, right? If you don't want to struggle, you need to not be average. You've got to do the work. Whether it's a seller, a buyer, or a partner, clarity, confidence, and trust matter most. Clarity, confidence, and trust. My advice, again, push-ups, sit-ups, cardio with your communication. Push-ups, sit-ups, cardio with your communication. Learn how to talk to these people that you're talking to about their biggest asset. My advice, most deals don't happen on the first conversation. Let me say it again. I want to make sure everybody hear me. Most deals don't happen on the first conversation. If you can master your communication, every sale that caller that you talk to is an opportunity. If you can master your communication, I don't know why that may sound corny to some people. If you can master your communication, every seller call is an opportunity. The more comfortable sellers feel with you, the easier it is to get contracts signed. The more uncomfortable they are with you, the harder it will be for you to get a contract signed. That's my takeaway, is that you have to be comfortable with having the deep conversations. You got to do it. To me, it's fundamentally one of the biggest things in the world. And people don't do it. People don't put their time in and try to make it happen. But this is where the light bulbs come on. This is where you have to turn your fire on. This is where you're supposed to be the most excited. This is where also, in some cases, you got to calm down. I don't always calm down. I'm on 5 or 10 or 20 at every different day. I told a year earlier, you put me on this camera, man, I'm going to be at 20. I'm going to learn how to pull it back a little bit, though. But I tell you right now, communication is key. That's all I got right now. Hopefully. Where's Yuri at? That's all I got. I can't give you much more than that. I wish I could answer questions. Can I answer questions? Let me see here. Yuri, I told you I was coming out everything. You're on mute, brother. I can't hear you.
Everybody was just writing down what you shared. So that's no questions.
Writing. They still writing, hopefully. Yeah, man.
No,
but
thank you.
This, man. Yeah.
No, it's nice to have you. We'll have you more, guys. So, and if for whatever reason you want some advice how to close deals and also how to get some really good packages or something like that, contact Rosevelt.
Here I am,
512-619-1049.
Yeah, you could have gave my desk number too, brother. 737-510-4879. That's that desk number. Right? Put that up there. 737-510-4879. And we're going to start selling these courses on communication. I'm going to tell you now, we start selling these courses on communication, we'll kill it. Because I already know we can help people.
So you see, guys, so if you heard it, right? So we plan to sell it. So
yeah, it's coming.
Today, all this wisdom might be paid one day. So make sure
check this out. Yuri, I have a document called, I got a document called Hear, Think, Say. It's where I wrote everything that a person could say from a seller standpoint, from a buyer standpoint, from an agent standpoint. I wrote it all down. Hear, think, say, and then wrote responses for every single one of them. I got like 3 responses for every single one of them. I'm telling you right now, we're going to do that course. We give everybody the book. It's the Bible to learning how to communicate with people in real estate. Man, we're going to do that, brother. I'm excited right now. Jonathan, I see you, brother.
How you doing, Rose?
I'm good, Jay. I'm good. I'm fired up right now.
You got me so pumped up. I'm ready to run through a brick wall.
I'm with you.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm in, bro.
Rose, you want to stay with us on the presentation, or
you got stuff to do.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I got to
Are
take
you
my
ready?
wife. It's Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Okay. See you later.
Hey,
Nice
man,
having you.
thank y'all
Take
for
care.
having me. Yeah.
Bye.
Rosevelt Hawkins, guys, pumping you guys up. Guys, he spit out a lot of knowledge. I actually was writing a bit down myself. And I know the guy. So I would definitely, I hope all you guys got your pen out. Hope you had your paper out. That was free game. That was free game worth $1 million. So I was very, even me personally, and I work for this company, guys. Yeah, I was able to learn a few things from that. So we love Rosevelt. We're happy we had him on. And Yuri, I think we had something special, a special presentation for these guys.
Yes, guys. And we're going to talk about the most affordable way to close some deals nationwide. So everything was high quality, high scale. Right now we go still high quality, but good price. And because all of you guys need motivated seller leads, this is the fastest way of closing deals, of like talking to actual wholesalers, homeowners, sorry, who would like to sell their houses for cash instead of like finding those guys, because all this communication doesn't matter if they say, I'm not selling my house. So all of this is great. Strategy is great. Disposition is great. Everything is great. But if they tell you, I'm not freaking selling, why the hell you called me? Screw you. And this is how your most of your days spent. Yeah, you're just wasting your time live. And the speed, how you're going to close your first deal, second deal, or more deals is really limited. So, and we're going to be quick. I know it's already been an hour and a half, so we don't want to take too much time. But we're going to tell you about fast and cost-effective solutions, some of the cool success stories, what's iSpeedToLead, and how you can scale smart. You guys saw about disposition, creative finance, different exit strategies, communication. So we are going straight into digital marketing, straight into how to get leads, and why iSpeedToLead is the best with that. Thousands of cases, you deserve it. We're bringing you knowledge, we're bringing you value at the time, bringing some guests, and with all of that, here are some of the results of people who are actually closing deals with us on a constant basis. More and more and more. John, what about you? What's your recent success story or stories from the guys who you work with?
Guys, I never like to set this expectation, but it's hard to ignore it whenever it's actually happening. I've had a few cases within the last few months, more so say weeks, because it's happened a lot within the last few weeks of people in their first week, they're taking the leap of faith. They're buying 20, 30 leads, sell leads, exclusive leads, either or. And guys, they're having deals closed, but they have confidence in themselves and they come in. Lots of repeat clients have came in within the last 2 weeks, and they've, they believe in themselves, first of all, because they have the training, but people are closing at a very fast rate. And I'm almost too scared to say it, guys, because I don't really want Yuri to kick my ass, but some of these people are closing on their first, some of these sell leads, 10 to 15, 20 leads within the first week or two. But these are people who are coming in, they're making the commitment. They've been told by their mentors. A bunch of you guys are in masterminds. They've been told by their mentors that the most important thing is taking action. And the people that we see who actually close deals, first off, multiple exit strategies, as Ashley kind of touched on. But Rosevelt made a very important point is, guys, the communication, push-ups, sit-ups, cardio, don't always be greedy. Kind of make the person the best deal. And sometimes the best deal can still make you money, guys. But I see a lot of people, for example, on like a $200,000 house, we'll see people who are offering like 120, whenever the profit probably could have been a little bit less. But if they would have made the client a better cash offer, they probably would have closed that deal. So it's super important to always make the best possible offer and make the offer that works for the homeowner. But guys, the people who have those communication skills, they're doing the push-ups, the sit-ups, and the cardio that Rosevelt kind of touched on. Those are the people who close leads faster, better than the average rate. The people who ask questions, who it's not just another phone call. You have to have some passion. Of course, you have to take action is actually the first step, because if you don't take action and actually have the leads, you can't do your push-ups, sit-ups, and cardio. So the people who do all three of those things, four of those things, those are the people who are closing at a higher rate than just your typical wholesaler. You actually have to have some passion. You've got to be willing to take a calculated risk, guys, because it's not a gamble. We show you property type. We show you all this stuff before you buy the lead. So, guys, it's really about taking action. And if you'll take action, if you believe in yourself, then you can change your whole life around. Some of you are on here watching this webinar, not taking shots at anybody, but maybe some deals haven't been closed yet. You're supposed to be, my parents are going out to Olive Garden tonight. That's where you guys are supposed to be. You're supposed to have already closed a few deals, taken the wife out. No more of this cold calling crap, guys. No more of this driving for dollars. No more of settling for less. If you will take action, get some leads. If you will follow what Rose said, cardio, sit-ups, push-ups, all of this stuff, you will see your life change dramatically. But it's all about the decisions that you make. And guys, I'm really excited for this presentation that we're about to do, just because it explains it just a little bit better on the difference between our leads and the typical prospects that some of you guys consider leads. And Yuri will touch on the difference between prospects and actual leads. And I think this is important. So, guys, hear him out. It is one thing, guys. It's one thing to call a list of people who maybe want to sell their home. And it's another thing to be, it's another thing to be on the phone with someone who's motivated. Motivation is everything, guys. If you're willing to wake up, have that cup of coffee, have a smoke, whatever you do, and make those dials, follow through with the process, you'll be successful. But the number one game changer is being on the phone with someone who wants to be on the phone. I don't want to name names, but guys, PropStream, I am going to name names. PropWire, all of these things. It's good. It's a good way to get your start. But if you want a deal soon, you need to be on the phone with someone who wants to sell their home, someone who has shown genuine interest in selling their home. Guys, this is a game changer. And we'll start to touch on running your own ads versus PPO. I have people talk about this all the time. Do you really want to be the people managing the managers? Or do you just want to come to a company who has leads already on the website? You're not just sitting back and saying, oh, I hope Facebook gives me a lead or two this week. Guys, you're playing a waiting game. Let us do the work for you. I've gotten taken off Facebook a time or two. You know how hard it is to get in contact with their support? It's pretty ridiculous. It's pretty ridiculous to manage Facebook and manage Google, because they're so big and they're over their heads that unless you're spending a few $100,000 a month on lead generation, they're not going to pay attention to you guys. And I know that sounds a little bit rude and a little bit mean, but I think it's very important to do business with people who are willing to put their face out here, who are willing to take the heat. And, this is something that Gene is in the office every single day. He's coming in. He's kicking our ass if our ass is needing kicked. We care about you guys. But there's a very fine line in between talking to people who need and want to sell their home versus just calling somebody who, well, if I need to sell my home in 8 months, I'll call you. Maybe someone in my family isn't around. Guys, maybe I'll end up calling you. Guys, there's a difference between a lead and a prospect. You can go to your courthouse, you can pull the information, and you can hope that somebody, had something tragic in their life to where they need to sell their home. Or you can come to iSpeedToLead.com and get on the phone with someone who genuinely is ready to sell. And guys, if they're not ready to sell, we have a refund policy, a 21-day refund policy, and in some cases, 60 days, depending on kind of which package you get. But this is important. It's important to know that your downside's protected. recently, this is something that we have even improved on, is adding in more support people to get you guys refund requests, to get all the attention on you that you need. But I think that this is really important to just be on the phone with someone who wants to be on the phone. These people fill out a form and they're waiting for your call. But if you never call, that person's kind of just left high and dry. They've been waiting on a cash offer and maybe nobody has called. So be the first one to call. Be the sixth one to call, but make them the best cash offer. And I think that's where you guys will find some success. Traditional cold calling is a thing of the past. This goes for real estate agents. This goes for wholesalers. This goes for real estate investors. Cold calling is a thing of the past. This is like selling life insurance back in the day, and you guys were going out to their house instead of meeting with them virtually. It's a thing of the past. Throwing up your signs, you're paying, what, $800 a month to have your face on a sign that nobody watches. They're on their phone driving. They're driving past your sign, looking down instead of up. Guys, it's very important to talk to someone who wants to talk. We have a network of top-tier providers, and guys, we have AI. It's an 8-factor authentication system that listens to these calls to ensure quality. And on top of that, we throw on a second layer that they're manually reviewed. And I think something's important. PPL companies probably wouldn't, guys, but some of our cold call providers, if you guys refund, they don't get paid, we don't get paid, and you don't get paid. So we're all in the same boat. So if you fail, we fail. So we're putting our neck on the line just like you guys are. We take the same risk as what you guys do. And let's touch on results a little bit. Some of you guys like PPC and some of you guys want to go on Facebook. Guys, if you're spending maybe $1,000 a month, do you think a multi-billion-dollar company like Facebook is giving you that extra special attention? Who can you call at Facebook and get on the phone? And I can tell you, no one. No one. They don't even have a support email on the Facebook website. I know because I've struggled with this. And plus, you're paying so much more of a premium price than what we pay, because we go in, guys, and we buy in bulk. We are spending, and I don't want to give an exact number and set a false expectation, but we are spending a lot of money with Facebook each month. So we do get that special attention. We can give Facebook the little swift kick in the ass if they need it. But our prices are so low compared to the market average because we go into Facebook and we spend money, a lot of money each month. And guys, the next thing I want to kind of touch on is transparency. We show you every single piece of information about a lead. If you have premium, don't you guys misquote me, but we show you a lot of information already without premium. But the number one most important thing is we show you lead source. You will never guess where a lead came from. You will always know. Guys, I've been in the PPL industry for a while now. Nobody else is doing this. Nobody else is showing all of their vulnerable parts to a lead. And Gene recorded a video for me for a special customer a while back, and he touched on this. He said, you know, all PPL companies generate leads, but it is the ability to admit that a certain lead is not it. Maybe that lead, you know, is just not it. But we're the company that will sit here. We're the company that wants to be in the business the longest. So we'll tell you, hey, yeah, we agree. That lead's not up to the quality that we promised it would be. So we'll give you a refund according to the refund policy. And guys, lead options. You can actually have tailored lead flow, just like this little tailored jacket I got on right now that fits perfect. You can have your lead flow tailored to you. You can have leads sent to you automatically that fit your wants and your needs for your business, or you can just go on and cherry pick the exact lead that you want. We provide you multiple options, none of this bidding system bullcrap where the small guy always kind of ends up last. You know, in some of these bidding systems, in a lot of cases, if there's somebody who has more capital than you, you won't get a lead for a month. If they choose to outbid you every single time you raise your bid, you lose. Here I know last webinar we were at 8,000 plus leads just on the marketplace. That's not even counting what we'll create through FPM the next month. But we have multiple options, not just one option. We don't just take your credit card and say, lead. Oh, we charged them $800 and we don't run off. You have the ability to pick the lead that you want based on your needs. So I think this is very important, guys. And a few more things that we would like to touch on tonight, guys, is high value deals. We have investors closing 30K plus deals on their first leads. And like I touched on, I don't want to set a false expectation with you guys, but it's the people who are willing to call 6 times in a row. Kind of, if that's what it takes. People who are willing to follow up all the way up until that 20th day. They're calling 3 times a day for 21 days. In very rare cases, most of the time you will definitely be able to get on the phone with them. But it's the people who call, they do their push-ups, their sit-ups, their cardio, they're sending texts, they're sending emails. I've known a few cases, guys, to where people drive out to the house if they couldn't get a hold of the seller if that certain lead is in their area. But you have to put in the work. You have to know whenever you lay down and you go to bed at night, I've done everything I could to contact this lead. Submit it for a refund. If you've done everything you could, you can't get in touch with them, just submit it for a refund. And guys, quick contracts. New wholesalers are getting contracts in their first week. And guys, I can kind of relate to you guys. I'm from the South, and I'm like, dang, that sounds a little bit too good to be true. We have real stories, real people, and real success. At these other PPL companies and a lot of lead source companies, you will find that the owner of the company, the CEO, is never to be found. Their face will never appear online. The people who are trying to sell you something, you can't find videos anywhere. And you're like, oh, I hear success stories, but the people who are telling me that these success stories are true are nowhere to be found. Yuri's here, I'm here, and we're telling you we have a lot of good stories of people getting contracts in their first week. In certain cases, going from homeless to almost pushing $1 million in acquisition profits this year. And we'll show you these real stories, and we'll put our face and our refund policy behind it to ensure that you're getting the highest quality leads that are available in the industry. So immediate success is another thing that I'd like to touch on. We don't require you guys to pay $400, $500, $600, be the highest bid for a lead. You can get leads for right now, and I kind of touch on this, a very limited time. At any point, very soon, this lead price could go up to $49. And I'm not really sure on an exact date, but we have the sales legend, Miss Kira, coming in over here. But guys, we embrace the little guy. We embrace the small guy who is maybe working construction, who's on a skid steer, who's on a bulldozer, 8 hours out of his day. And he goes home and he's like, I want something more. I want to be home with my family, like Yuri is with his sweet child right now. And I want to be able to take the wife out on Valentine's Day. I don't want to come in from work all tired. We embrace those people who may not come in with a few $1,000s budget. But guess what? We have leads that start out at $29. We provide options to the people who have 20 years in real estate, 5 years, and 0 years. And sometimes even people who had just decided the same day that they were going to make a transformation in their business and in their life. And here's just one of these testimonies. The very first lead I bought, and guys, I'll double down on this. We don't like to set this expectation, but if you put in the work, if you've been one of the guys and, in construction and you've hammered nails all day, you've poured foundations, put that same work ethic into real estate, make the extra call. These are the people who are most successful. Rudy, he was skeptical, just like I hear, and I meet with you guys every single day. A lot of you are, and rightfully so, kind of a little bit skeptical about pouring maybe 200, 300, in some cases 10,000, like I've seen this week. Some of you guys are skeptical about that, and we understand, but we give you a way to start at a super low cost. And he was still nervous, and like he said, quote, bang, bang, 2 out of 5 of his first exclusive leads turned into deals. 1 is already sold, and 1 is most likely going to be sold this week. And guys, he just came in and bought another batch of leads. It's more so about taking action. I'll have some people ask me, it's kind of a crazy question, but they'll be like, "But Jonathan, what if I spend $1,000, $2,000? What if I don't close any leads?" First off, I'd be a little bit surprised if that ever happened. But let's talk about the lack of ROI of not taking action. Some of you guys quit your job just to become a wholesaler or become a real estate investor, and you walked away from a $15, $20 hour paycheck. And you guys are sitting there dialing free stuff. Let me tell you, it's free for a reason, because they haven't shown any motivation to want to sell. But start taking value in your time, appreciate yourself and the fact that you are worth something, spend a little bit of money, and get on the phone with someone who wants to sell. Best PPL service for real estate investors, hands down. Misty, and it's crazy I just gave this number, has spent less than $2,000 with iSpeedToLead, and she has 3 contracts, 2 of which are doing novation, so this is some creative finance stuff, and currently listed on the MLS as of Friday. We split test with 2 other PPL companies. I won't name them. I promise I won't name them. And we'll just go to the next slide. Marquise closed a deal for $10,000 with iSpeedToLead, and it was a seller that had some equity, but not enough to sell the house traditionally. We are ingrained in our minds in school, kind of whenever we go out into the workforce, that, oh, if I need to sell my house, I need to go through a real estate agent. Guys, you know how much money you're going to be losing if you go the traditional route in some cases, to where maybe the seller doesn't have enough of equity? Sometimes a cash offer is the best possible way for someone to sell their house. And everyone always asks me, let's go back to that last slide, Yuri. Everyone always asks me, Jonathan, what's going to protect my downside? If I put trust in you to spend just sometimes even $200, and then I give you 500 more to purchase leads, what's going to protect my downside? And I'll tell people, man, our refund policy. I'm like, oh, what do you mean? Oh, I didn't tell you. The refund policy, guys, is number 1 in the industry. And if somebody can show me a better one, I will send this to Yuri and I'll say, hey, someone's better than us. But so far, I've never been able to see a better refund policy that can even beat our 21 days. And right now, we have some certain particular packages that actually give you a 60-day refund policy. We don't do this because we're nice. Unfortunately, Yuri's a nice guy. I'm not. But we don't do this because we're nice. We genuinely believe as a company that if we give you guys the maximum amount of time to work a lead, make the calls, do the follow-up, case in point, we had someone who had made over 50 phone calls. 50 phone calls over a few weeks. They finally got in touch with the seller and locked up a deal. I believe it was somewhere around a $12,000 to $15,000 assignment fee. But that person put in the work. They'd done their push-ups. They'd done their cardio. And they'd done their sit-ups. Is there a guaranteed deal? I wish, guys. Is there any such thing, guaranteed in life? There's absolutely nothing guaranteed in life. But what you can do to ensure success and get as close to a guaranteed deal as possible is making sure a few factors match up. The foundation for closing deals. Follow-up, not just making 2 phone calls and giving up on a lead. You guys, in some cases, are working 9 to 5s. Can you give up at hour 3 and still get that weekly paycheck? No, you'll get fired. So why would you give up on yourself whenever you're trying to branch out and create something more and create a better life? Confidence. Come in with some training. Go watch YouTube. I know there's a lot of mentors and gurus, and honestly, a few of them are definitely worth what they charge. But guys, you can go find some free information on YouTube. Learn wholesale. Learn how to do some creative finance. We gave you tons of free information tonight from a disposition, from an acquisition standpoint. We've already given you the game, and you're going to get sent a recording after this phone call. Strong closing script. You need to have some very effective negotiation. You need to be confident. Case in point, if I call someone, and maybe it's a seller motivation of a death in the family, and I call this person, they're crying. Hey, yes, my father, my sister, my brother has just passed away, and we're really in a tight financial spot. You have to be able to know how to read the room. The first thing that comes out of your mouth does not need to be your cash offer for someone who has just lost a family member, or even someone who's about to lose their house due to pre-foreclosure or emergency reasons. You have to read the room. You have to be effective. Oh, hey, guys, I'm sorry. This and this also happened to me. So I very much so understand your situation. But how long did the bank give you to be able to get out of this situation? Well, 21 days. Oh, 21 days. Let me look up the MLS. Yeah, guys, selling this on market probably doesn't seem like the best idea. But what do you guys feel? What is your guys' opinion? What do you need? How can I help you? I forget. It was a John F. Kennedy quote. Ask not what this nation can do for you, but ask what you can do for this nation. This was a John F. Kennedy quote. Don't ask the homeowner what they can do for you. Ask the homeowner what you can do for them to help them. Whether it's a cash offer, whether it's an ovation, whether it's some type of creative finance, there's always something you can do to earn someone's business. And guys, expand your business. I have this all the time. People religiously only do business in their backyard. Guys, this is not the way to scale up your business. Anybody who is doing true big numbers is doing business across the nation, or at least in multiple states. Nationwide opportunities. You can buy leads anywhere in the country with iSpeedToLead. This gives you a chance to build up your portfolio and your net worth. You need to, it takes a simple, quick Google search on how to wholesale real estate virtually to figure out how to wholesale real estate virtually. And it ups your chances by at least half to actually scale up your business. And guys, outsmart the freaking competition. Avoid competing with seasoned investors in one market. Guys, in Dallas, for example, Dallas, Texas, super hot area. But imagine if you went out to Denton. Imagine if you went out to Tarrant. Imagine if you went out to Rockwall. You were automatically competing with less people, which will give you a better chance of success. And this is very important for one reason, is sometimes even if you're making the best cash offer, if you can get in a little bit less of a saturated market, you'll definitely have some more success. So very, much so take into account of expanding your business. This is very important. And have some confidence. Have some confidence in yourself. And guys, comprehensive buyer database. This is our deal speed, guys. And Yuri, I know it says 6 million on here, but actually the other morning I checked it and it was 7.1 million. And correct me if I'm wrong, Yuri, but whenever I checked it, we have added another, over 500,000 cash buyers more since we made this little slide. So get on deal speed. We have multiple stories of people who are dispoing on deal speed within their first deal. Some of my clients specifically, because my clients, you guys kill it. Built-in tools. You can email blast your property to cash buyers. No more send one email, and hope it works. No. Send out in the masses, and this will give you a better chance to dispo a property you have under contract. Affordable solution, guys, and I really want to touch on this. Not going to name names, but there's that big disposition website out there that you guys hear about that's charging you guys 20 grand a quarter, in some cases 60 grand a year. We have a much better solution, and we're a one-stop shop. You do disposition and acquisition on the same website. And all you have to do is put in the work, kind of like she said earlier in the phone call. So we provide you a low-cost solution compared to no, I can't say it. But we provide you with a lower cost disposition solution compared to Escalator Investor something. I forget what it's called. But guys, here's another story. Casey sold 2 deals in 2 days. He marketed 2 deals on DealSpeed and found 2 buyers. And he really likes the platform because it's really easy to use and very affordable in his business. This is very important, guys. One of my guys, Ron, if you're listening, he also dispoed a deal. The first deal he ever posted on DealSpeed was dispoed. Same with Danielle, who was talking earlier in the call. But it's not like you guys can just post the property and hope it sells. Use the email campaigns. We're not charging you to use the email campaigns. Get on there, use the email campaigns. Make the dials. Our pricing structure, guys. Our starting price in fixed price mode is right around $200. It's the minimum cost per lead in fixed price mode. The max you will pay in $350. If you're on a bidding website, guys, sometimes you could be paying $800 per lead if you're in a hot market like Guilford, North Carolina, Mecklenburg, North Carolina, Dallas, Texas, Austin, Texas, Tucson, Arizona, Jefferson, Alabama. You can be paying a super high premium, but over here, you know what you're going to pay. You know what you're going to pay. You don't have to watch the website all day long and say, oh, if I increase my bid, I'll get a lead, until the hedge fund increases their bid, guys. I know that sounds really rude and really blunt, but yeah, until millionaire Jeff Bezos increases his bid, you may get a lead. And then if he chooses to, he can buy you out for the rest of the month. Guys, a 1 in 6 typical exclusive lead ratio. 1 in 6 of these deals are closing. 1 out of 12 leads. 1 out of 6 to 1 out of 12 leads is the typical ratio, guys, that we have set. But it all depends on, are you in multiple areas? Are you making the freaking follow-up calls? Are you providing the best cash offer to the client? All of this stuff is super important. And guys, I know what everybody's been thinking. What's a great way to start out? Coupon Club, of course. $29 a lead, high quality leads. These are the same leads. They all go through the same vetting process. All of our leads go through the same exact vetting process. So there's no lack in quality, just maybe a difference in age. Maybe, I believe Coupon Club leads are actually 48 hours or older. But in a lot of cases, you will see that no one has bought a Coupon Club lead yet. So technically, guys, it's exclusive to you until someone else decides to come in and buy it, which in that case, it's very important to make the best possible cash offer to the client. Availability. This is especially for my people who are waiting on Google PPC to send you a minimum amount of leads. Availability, guys. We have plenty of leads available already on the website. And unsold leads. So what this is kind of saying, guys, is if a lead is not sold exclusively, 100% fully exclusive, they're going to drop to a sell price after 48 hours. So for the guy that would have paid $200 or $300 for a fully exclusive lead, or maybe paid for it for only 24 hours exclusive, after 48 hours, you guys will be able to buy this lead at a very significant discount of $29 if the lead is in sale status. And this is very important because, like I said, some of you people are single moms, single dads, people who are working 9 to 5s, and you don't always have a huge budget coming in. We don't ask you to have a huge budget coming in. We ask you to take action on our lowest cost motivated seller lead to just get a start in. So this is very important, is that we are one of the only PPL companies that provide you a chance to start off at the lowest in industry budget. So I'm very excited about our Coupon Club, and make sure you guys get in ASAP. make sure you guys get in ASAP, because these prices will jump to $49 per lead. Honestly, at any second now. It was already kind of supposed to happen, but we wanted to allow you guys on the webinar to have just a little bit more time to come on in. So go ahead and hop on in Coupon Club.
Yeah, and we have just, I heard a quick question about like how many orders is in on the leads or something like that. And I got a comment that it's like 10 orders, something like that. I mean, honestly, I wish, but I'm sharing my screen right now. So I'm targeting most of decent leads. Sometimes you'll get even worse on other platforms. So those are fine up to 3 months. We want only owners, no perfect houses, only single families. I mean, you can do more filters. But nationwide, if I go 1 order, 0 orders, 2 orders, 0 orders, I don't know, 0 orders, 3 orders, 0 orders, 0 orders, 0, 0, 2, 2, 0. I can scroll this way, like all the way along. I heard another comment about taxes. Okay, let's check taxes right away. Same parameters. So 3, 4. Okay, this one is 7. Been there already for some time. 4, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 0, 0, 0. 2, 6, 4, 1. Okay, there is no one with 10. I don't know where we get the 10. I saw 10 maybe once or twice. Honestly, so I mean, and still there is like so many leads. And here's the cool thing: if you want to guys be faster than everybody, just get automatic coupon club. This is a new thing that we announced. Just you'll be the fastest. It's a new thing, and you'll be fast. Yeah, multiple people can still buy it, but here is the cool thing. And let me just quickly show you that. But it's still like we probably have close to just around approaching 100 people right now on automatic coupon club. So you can be one of those guys. You can target just your particular areas and be the fastest. So it's just simple as that. And again, like just to give you a perspective, under coupon club we have over probably right now over 500 people. So if you want to be the faster, just put the counties. You have still good parameters, better than you get on any other pay-per lead with bidding or anything you want. $29. Just launch. You can put daily one, monthly one, like your budgets, and just get rolling. So just simple as that. But if any issues, guys, or any questions or suggestions, feel free to text me or Jonathan, and we'll be able to help you out. So having said that, this has been already 2 hours. Jonathan, thank you for covering. We thank all our guests, all our people who were today: Danielle, Rosevelt, Shaun, Ashley, Jonathan, and guys, we're really rooting for you. We're trying to bring you the most amount of value as possible, so you can close the deal and come back and spend more money with us, because this is what it's all about for us as a salespeople. And we are rooting for you. Just make sure to take advantage of the coupon club, which is the basic subscription, $199 a month. You can cancel anytime, and you can purchase any lead on the marketplace for just $29. Let me quickly share that, and we will let you go. So instead of purchasing an exclusive lead, somebody asked about exclusive purchase prices. If you want to get the better deal on that, just make sure to reach out to our sales team. We have a cool packages right now that allow you to save a lot of money and give you a lot of bonuses. So you get at least 10% discount, lots of bonus balance, and lots of other things. We also have special coupons for exclusive leads. They can really drag your cost down. Again, if you are the wholesaler who is working in multiple states or plenty of counties, we'll be glad to give you a special offer even for fixed price modes. You'll get leads exclusively with the big discounts if you're interested in that. But still, pricing is not the most important thing. It's all about results. With the ability to look at the leads before you buy, to target the best leads that you want, it really sets you for the success. So as long as you pay attention to what you purchase, how it works for you and you do adjustments. With iSpeedToLead, is about like when you get successful, not about if you get successful. On any other platform, you don't see anything. They wouldn't adjust anything for you. It's just how it works, because they don't have even any transparency. So it doesn't matter if you have good experience or bad experience. There are no adjustments. It's just pure luck. So if you don't want to do luck, but you want to have a consistent process, get to things that bring you actual success, iSpeedToLead is a go-to. And to take advantage of the coupon club, look at those sale leads, right? So if you want to buy a sale lead, instead of paying $287 per lead, and just to get it at $29, and any lead anywhere nationwide, and you'll be able to apply the coupon code 29club, it will cost only $29. And you know what's the cool thing? Like, let's say, yeah, multiple people bought, and that's where you need to adjust your strategy. You cannot call to them and just say, hey, you filed the form on my website or something like that. So you need to make sure that you have a approach for that and say, hey, my understanding that you might be interested to sell your house for cash. Is that still correct, or you have already sold your house? Oh yeah, I already got so many offers, so many people calling me. I think it's a good thing, right? So you're selling your house, you got the offer already. What's the story? Oh no, I still haven't sold my house. So you know what I'll say? Okay, I'm glad I called. Typically, homeowners reach out to me when they have a hard time of getting a good deal from other investors. Sounds like that's your case. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? I have different solutions to offer. And again, if you use multiple exit strategies and you do lots of things, it will bring you success. And what's the coolest thing? Sale leads, non-exclusive whatsoever, they're still refundable. When you buy them, you can still, if somebody already closed them, you couldn't get a hold of them, and you tried for 2 weeks, you can just go here, create a ticket, ask for a refund. You have whole 3 weeks, as Jonathan mentioned, get it back and keep rolling. And you can also target different states, different places, what provides you the best opportunity nationwide to close some deals without spending lots of money in other places, to really get a feel for area, becoming an expert of the area, actually having the approach towards your disposition, not just be in a spinning wheel like of nationwide leads or statewide leads where you don't know where the lead falls, and after you need to run and try to do Dispo. So you actually can have a targeted approach towards different areas, towards different particular leads or motivations, build your cash buyer list using deal speed and other solutions, and become successful. In order to subscribe, you just need to go to app.iSpeedToLead.com and activate your subscription, and you're getting both to manual mode and automatic mode right away. So I'm posting the link, app.iSpeedToLead.com/coupon club, and it's Friday, and Jonathan is absolutely correct. I think Gene just forgot that we're going to increase pricing, so we're kind of dragging this.
I think so too.
Not reminding. We assume he wouldn't watch this longest live stream, hopefully. So, but yeah, take advantage. So it's not like a marketing thing. We just go in and say like, oh, the price will go up. Actually, the plan was last Monday. Actually, like this Monday was the plan. So, but yeah, that's where we stand. So if you want to really be a part of investors who are closing deals, like some of those ones. So you found us, you started buying leads on the coupon club. Can you tell us a little bit more about like which leads you get and what the so far performance is?
It's life-changing. It's game-changing. I'd say if anyone was starting, definitely get on Coupon Club. It's literally just a simple subscription, and then you're instantly pumped with, they were already exclusive from what I'm thinking. And then it was just maybe not touched by an investor fast enough. So then it became a coupon club. So in reality, it's still a really good lead. So I see these, and if they're in my area, I'll instantly snag them. I'll buy 20 of them if they're in my areas, and I'll just go on there. Even if, you're working on the side and you're just signed up with Coupon Club and you're spending $1,000 or so a month, you can easily get a couple deals out of that every single month.
You want to quickly another one? How about this one crazy one?
I was like, I need to learn this. I need to dive in. and I wanted to find the best lead company to do it. And I think I found that. I started wholesaling on our first call. So after we got that first call done, is actually when I started. And I closed actually 2 contracts my very first day. I got an Odessa contract signed, Amarillo contract signed, Humboldt, Texas contract signed, Eagleside, Texas signed.
And how much did you pay for every lead?
I've spent only maybe $1,400 or $1,500.
Okay, so and how many contracts did you get so far?
7.
And it was actually 6 deals closed, by the way. So there is a follow-up video with Mr. John Looney. And before I let you go, guys, just quick 2 things, and one is from Mr. Daniel Nickerson Jr.
Hey, what's going on is Daryl Nickerson Jr., investor and wholesaler out of North Carolina, right? I started using iSpeedToLead about 2 years ago. My first month with no real estate experience, I made $70,000 using their leads, right? If you're thinking about using iSpeedToLead leads, I would stop thinking. I would take action. Their leads actually work. I've had students come through my mentorship and make $80,000 their first month using iSpeedToLead, man. Shout out to y'all.
And shout out to Daryl. And last but not least is... So what's the biggest deal you closed with us, and where it is?
I think the biggest deal we closed, we had 2 that were over $38,000. The one was $40,000. That was in Lansdale, PA. That's only 20 minutes from me. But ironically, you know, that was one of those, I think that was an exclusive deal that I just couldn't pass up, and I just jumped on it. And then we had another deal in South Carolina, which is, you know, it's a little bit tougher to do novations, but we worked around it. We made about $36,000 on that one. Those are probably the 2 biggest deals that we closed this year.
So, and someone was asking, like, how do you actually deal, like, say, they say, like, it was, like, a lot of orders. And actually, some people target those. But again, just the last thing before I let you go, guys. Coupon Club, $29 leads, game-changing, life-changing. Actually, full versions are on our YouTube channel, so make sure to subscribe, where guys like Garrett Hans, it's like 30-minute video, 30 to 35, Noah King, they're actually talking about their tips and tricks, you know, how to do that. So that's... So just check them out. They give more advice, and especially I like Garrett's one because he's doing novations. Somebody asked about novations, so he's doing novations in multiple states, and moreover, he's actually targeting even some leads that like older ones, because there are leads, let's say 2-3 months, and there is a legit way that you want to reach out to those a little bit later when a couple of wholesalers already talk to them. Mostly quit because most people quit too fast, and it's, you know, it's fine. Like, it leaves pretty low standards for people who can succeed, you know. That's but here's like a quick story from Garrett about him processing leads that are already being purchased by some other people in the past. And so the lead, you mentioned like you like some leads to get a little bit aged. Like, is there a particular leads or scenario for that? Because I know typically people want to like jump, be faster, which I'm not sure if it really makes sense, but what's your mindset on that?
I mean, you guys also do a great job of putting on there like when they're intending to sell. So if like sometimes I'll filter it by, you know, they want to sell ASAP right now, or they want to sell in 3-4 months. If it's one of those where they want to sell, you know, a few months down the road, I typically may wait and see and pick them up a little later, because you know, sometimes like when people call them and they're not ready to do anything for a few months, you know, me personally, this is my strategy, is I kind of like to let them weed out the guys that need to buy right now.
So are we still offering some bonuses today? Not today. So if you want to get some bonuses, make sure to check out Super Bowl packages that are about to expire. You can also check some packages on our Coupon Club page, couponclub.ispeedtolead.com, that I will post here. And responding to which one? Because I see, hello, am I missed this one? If I missed your question, sorry, but feel free to drop that. But if you want to check some packages also, go to couponclub.ispeedtolead.com. Take advantage, close some deals. We are guys rooting for you. And again, it was Yuri with iSpeedToLead. If you need any assistance, text 254-279-6742, my direct line. Also, if you have some suggestions, what you want to see on our lives, what suggestions or what kind of guests, let us know in the comments. We'll try to bring them on. It was nice to have you all, and have a great weekend.